Hi guys, welcome back to another Minify Pro video. Today I'm going to be testing the brand new ActiveTrack on this drone. And I also hear people claim that the ActiveTrack is supposed to be much better on this drone. Well, I'll be the judge of that. I'm going to start off easy, then we're going to move on to some moving subjects, and I'll also take it through the forest so you don't have to. I'm going to do a voiceover for the tracking itself, then I'll come back to the beach and wrap up this video when we're done. See you in a bit.
Alright, so just a quick reminder, to the bottom left, that's the tracking pad you drag with your finger to position where the drone should follow you from. And at the top right, that's the front obstacle camera view showing what the drone sees ahead. So I'm just gonna start off easy here with an easy walk, and the drone is following me from behind here. And as you can see, we have trees on the left and on the right. And here I try to move the drone from behind to the front, and you can see at the top right the camera view. There's a lot of trees here and it comes very close here, but it does find a way around eventually, and then it tracks me nicely after that. Then I start running a little bit to see how it reacts to little faster movements, and it does a very smooth tracking here as well, I would say. Nothing really special about that. And then I try to go from the front to the left, and as you can see again here, it struggles a little bit. And here, if you look at the top right on the drone camera, you can see that it actually touches the tree, and it for some reason managed to recover from that. And here when I do a turn, it's still set to the left, but for some reason it decides to go behind the trees instead, and then it loses me here eventually. Next up, I'm moving into a more narrower path. The trees are much closer this time, and at the start here it does fine with the tracking. It's a little wobbly, not really that smooth. And here again I try to move from behind to the front, and we have some trees here at the start. It struggles a little bit, but it comes around eventually here because there's not really any objects around the drone right now. And here I turn around to see how fast the drone gets back in front again, because I still have it set to the front, and it does understand that it needs to get to the front, but as you can see it takes so long. And now we get up to the trees again, and it struggles here because of the trees, but it finds a way around. But again here, it's not finding the route around to get to the front. It just stays locked behind. And then I try to move it instead to the inner circle so the drone gets closer to me to see if it can actually find a way around. But here it struggles with some trees. And here again, it doesn't find a way around to get to the front. I have to go all the way out to a more open area for the drone to actually get in front. Alright, so next up I moved over to my bicycle, and here you can see we have some options, and I'm going to choose cycling here, and this is supposed to focus on the subject with a more rapid response. And here again I have it set to the front, and it started off pretty nicely here. It does track me fine at the start here, but then it comes a little close to me and it moves back again, and eventually it does get to a more comfortable position, and you can see that the drone is now in a very comfortable position tracking me just fine. So here I try to do a quick turn, and the same thing here, I have it set to the front still. And here again you can see that it struggles so much to get back to that front position. And this is also a much more open area, and you can see that here it's about to get around, but then it pulls back because of some trees to the right. And it's not until I get all the way back to this little parking lot here that the drone actually gets back to the front. Alright, so next up I tried to track some cars, and the first thing I did here was try to see how far it could track a car into the distance using the spotlight feature here. And I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed on how far it actually tracked the car before it let go. And something else I was really impressed about was how it identifies the cars. So when we look to the left here, you can see that it actually identifies those two cars that are just standing still, parked down there. And I found that to be pretty impressive, that it understands that there are cars and not something else. Alright, so the next thing I did was try to track a car, trying to see how smooth the transition was when the car was passing under the drone. But as you can see here, it does not keep up with the car. It does lose it when the car passes under the drone. So I tried again with another car, and the same thing happened here. It did lose it for a bit, but it did manage to pick the car back up again. But as you can see, it barely picked it up again, and it wasn't really that smooth. Alright, so then I moved over to a tractor with a trailer, and as you can see here on the tracking box, you can see that it struggles to understand what is the actual vehicle in this scenario. It jumps back and forth, but the tracking itself was fine. And then again with another car passing behind some trees, it does lose it, but it does pick it up beautifully again right after. Alright boys, final boss. This time I'm gonna run through this forest right here and we're gonna put these 2 new LiDAR sensors on this drone to the ultimate test. So there's a lot of trees here and there's a lot of branches in this forest. Starting off a little slow here. It's gonna get worse and worse the further in I go. Does a beautiful job here at the start. Avoids these trees right here. Keeps track of me really nicely here. Great stamina on me. And this is where it gets super impressive. Take a look at this. Look how well it does here. It does a beautiful job navigating to the left and to the right, avoiding these trees, and I was really impressed by this. And this is probably the most impressive thing about this whole ActiveTrack test that I did. Now, of course, I did a stupid thing. I did the same thing going back. This time I was tracking from the front and I had the drone backing up instead, and this drone does not have 2 LiDAR sensors at the back, and bam, there we go. Rest assured, the drone was fine. There was no damage on the drone. There wasn't even barely a scratch. Now, this next clip is the most disappointing thing in my opinion about this test. I was out here in an open area, and as you can see to the left, this is basically the only trees that is here in this area. So I started slow here. I set the drone to track me from the left, and if you look at the drone camera at the top right, you can see the trees, and it almost hit a branch there. But look what happened when I set the drone to track me from the outer circle, still on the left side. If you look at the drone camera at the top right, first it actually hits a couple of branches right there. And then for some reason it just flies straight into a big tree. This is not even a small branch. This was a big tree with a lot of branches, and you can tell from the obstacle avoidance that the drone understands that there are a lot of obstacles here, but it still decided to fly straight into that tree. And this is, as I said, the most disappointing part about this ActiveTrack test. And again here, the drone is completely fine. There was no damage to the drone, not even to the propellers. Everything is fine. So for durability, I give this drone a 10 out of 10. Alright, so what can we take away from this test? I would say that because of those 2 new LiDAR sensors at the front, it is a very reliable drone tracking you the way you saw it track me in the forest. I found the tracking to be much more reliable when the drone was moving forward. But as you saw, as soon as the drone is panning to the side or backing up, that's when it gets risky. So if there's anything to take away from this video, is that be careful when you're using the tracking when you're panning sideways or backing up. Alright, so there is the full test. I'm gonna put you back over to the crazy guy at the beach.
Alright guys, there you have it. Drop a comment below letting me know if you were happy with the results. And also, if you found this video helpful, I would highly appreciate it if you could smash that like and subscribe button as well before you head off. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Fly safe.